Hi, this is Evelyn from Otherworldly Women Press. Today, reading an essay that I wrote a few months ago. While I was developing this press at first, um, the main reason I started Otherworldly Women Press was in response to the level of sexism and xenophobia that was going on in the United States and um, pretty much failed democracy and fascism that has started to occur under President Trump. And I found that it wasn't even like all sexism towards women, it was people who identify with the feminine divine. Um, and it really pushed me to create a press that would talk about topics like these, to let voices be heard from people who were marginalized and told to shut up their whole lives, such as myself. I wrote this the day after the State of the Union address in response to pretty much the mockery that is the United States government right now under Trump. And I just put it up on my blog today because I thought it was appropriate to let people understand that one, the things that Trump are doing are not right at all, but two, people are seeing this and people are supporting him, and there's a problem there. And my essay really looks at the children who see actions of Trump and where they came from, or come from, but only from my youth, from growing up in mostly the Midwest, with very conservative people, boys surrounding me. Uh, and as I wrote this essay, I wasn't pregnant yet. I'm pregnant now, and I am, I think I'm even madder at the state of how our country, or I shouldn't say our country, the United States is in right now. I do not want to raise a child in a world that people like Trump are running. So I decided that last night I was thinking about this because my baby was kicking me in the stomach every time it heard Trump talk. It was just like kicking me in the stomach, saying, no, no, mom, no. Um, and I kept thinking of this essay. So I'm going to read this to you. This was also part of my master's thesis that I finished up quite recently. All right. Boys of my youth. As I sit here writing, it is February 7th, 2020. Days ago, Trump gave what my husband called a bananas State of the Union address. I didn't watch it. The speech was clearly designed to be reality TV, designed by a puppet who clearly only has his rich, white, sexist friends in mind. One Trump lover, a hate-spewing human, was awarded the Medal of Honor. I was shocked that Nancy Pelosi didn't just rip up the speech, since I'm sure if she had a lighter, she would have torched the sucker. She reminded me what it meant to live with shameless little conservative white boys like the ones I went to school with. You'd be a lot cooler if you didn't talk, said a chubby boy who sat in front of me during seventh grade English. It wasn't the first time the boy tried to silence me, or tell me I wasn't pretty, or even say that boys were always better at things than girls. These were the 90s, when my home was nowhere in two places at once, living mainly in suburban Minnesota, where children with money flaunted it. The rest of us got by. Otherwise, I was left to my own devices most of the time in upstate New York. Boys in Minnesota shaped me. As a 12-year-old, my crush was a boy named Corey. Like me, he played hockey and had a strong unibrow. He never spoke to me, even though I admired him from far away in classes. My boyfriend, my boy crazy friend Leah, told me to ask him out. Leah giggled next to me, playing with her short blonde hair. She was the only girl in 7th grade to have boobs, a fact that boys noticed. I was still flat-chested with a disdain for bras. Leah dialed the number as I held the receiver playing with the curled cord. "Hello?" his mom answered with a Midwestern sound to her O. "Can I talk to Corey?" came out as a whisper. "Yes, hun," she said, along with shuffling sounds and Leah's giggle. We we heard, "Some little girl wants to talk to you." Leah took over as I felt my face flush with blood. The room seemed to spin. "Hi, Corey." Leah was braver than me. She spoke clearly. "It's Leah. Will you go out with Evelyn?" "No," was the only word that came out of his mouth. It seemed like he tried to lower his voice an octave. Then the distant sound of a dial tone took over the connection. The next school day, boys seemed to look in my direction and laugh. Some of them would cover their little mouths and pretend to cough while saying things like slut or whore. I didn't fully understand why. That day in gym class, we had to run a mile, which meant running around the school fields twice, a stupid activity that only the athletes liked. Although athletic, I preferred to sit out of gym class and hang out with Leah. Today was different, though. I wanted to run. I wanted to beat the boys who were being so horrible. As we lined up to start the run, Tony, a buck-toothed blonde boy with a bowl cut, said to me, "Why are your legs so pale? Do you even go outside?" His family went on cruises during vacations. In years to come, his skin would turn cancerous from the time in the sun. I said nothing and started running. My goal was to beat Corey, who had his socks pulled up as high as his gym shorts were long. Only a slice of his skinny tween legs showed. Most of the run, I was even with him. I kept my distance as the boys grouped together as they bounced along. At the end of the mile, I was tied with Corey to finish at the same time. Then, from a scratchy little boy voice came the word "slut," distracting me as Corey finished before me. Most of my school years I faced those same boys, those jocks who never liked me, yet bullied me for no reason at all, other than being female. I found myself wondering what had become of such children. Boys who always got what they wanted. Spoiled. Boys will be boys. Simple boys. Such as the ones coining the term basic bitch, since they see all women as the same. Boys that wear their high school rings into their 30s, since they could not hack it in college. Boys who believe they could hold power because what hangs between their legs. Boys who still believe bitches can't be smarter than them. Boys who want to control women. I sat in my living room on a sunny day, watching water trickle through my indoor fountain. The sparkling light bounced off my my lush green plants as vanilla incense burned sweetness into the air. Zen vibrations may have been in the home, but they weren't in the research I was doing. Exploring digital trails left over left over the years by these simple boys, I found my answers. Between profile pictures posted on Facebook pages of them drinking cheap beer were either bragging posts or political support for Donald Trump. What shitheads! I said loud enough to make my slumbering cat stir. I found mugshots and court records for some of the crimes they committed, such as rape, sexual assault, drug charges, fraud, and drunken driving. Mixed in were vintage hockey pictures curated by the state of Minnesota. A few wedding pictures were sprinkled into what I found. Wives with dimpled cheeks and crooked teeth under the arms of Midwestern boys, the ones I grew up with. The boys of my youth became the intolerant men of today.